All right, this is all about understanding text structures. So we're going to go through the different types, and each type has different clue words and things like that. So we're going to practice looking for those clues to help identify the text structure. And so let's go ahead and get started. So structure, when you think of structure, think about like the building or the framework. It refers to how a piece of text is built. Builders can use different kinds of structures to build different things. A skyscraper, for example, is a different kind of structure from a house. So, just like with writing, writers use, come on, writers use different types of structures to build their ideas. So each text structure communicates ideas in a different way. So first we're going to talk about chronological order. These are things that explain how things happen in order. They could also be called sequence or time order. You know that you're reading something that's in chronological order because you'll look for these keywords right here. First, next, later, then, and finally. You will often see chronological order in directions. So for example, this is giving directions of how to make macaroni and cheese. So you see here first, then, after, finally. So it's giving you the steps, and you have to do the steps in order. So putting this writing in a chronological order type of structure is important because it helps the reader know when to do what. Go ahead and pause the video and read that. Here's those clue words highlighted there for you. All right, so go ahead, pause again, and read these two, and I want you to see which one is in chronological order. So pause the video, and hopefully you chose this one. And these were the clue words that told you what was that this was chronological order. So sometimes you will see it's not always going to be first, next, then, and so on. Sometimes you have dates that can help you. Um, and other words that just show time order. All right, so think about it. What is structure? What does chronological order mean? And what are some of those clue words? So just think about that to review what we just talked about. And here's another one. So everybody doesn't always want to put things in order. Sometimes you might want to be doing something else with your writing, so you might want to use a different structure. When you want to explain how things are similar and different, chronological order doesn't really work because there's no order of events. So in this case, let's say the author wanted to explain how these birds are things that they have in common, how they're similar and how they're different. The author would use something called compare and contrast. So pause the video and read this. And you want to make sure that you're looking for those clue words. So let's find clues in here. So here's the text again. And if you notice, you see things that they show that, for example, like both of the birds have crest on their heads. They both are common at bird feeders. And then, so those keywords tell me that these are things that they have that are similar. And then it goes into talking about how things are different. So while one is brown, and then it says on the other hand, so those are signaling that, okay, now I'm talking about the differences that they have between them. One thing that you can use to help you organize your information when you're reading a compare and contrast is a Venn diagram. So you would put the two birds on either side, and then the things that they have in common go in the middle, and then the things that they have that are different go on the ends. All right, so again, review, think about what we just talked about. Are you able to explain the difference between the two structures, and how can the clue words help you? All right, another kind of text structure is called cause and effect. So these are the clue words: cause, effect, as a result, consequently, and so. So go ahead, pause the video, read this: the night snowman, or snowstorm, sorry. All right, here's those clue words. Here's another example. Go ahead and pause and read this. Here's the cause. The turtles have a special chemical in their blood that helps keep them from freezing. As a result, here's the effect. So because they have that, they don't freeze. All right, go ahead, review about what we just talked about. So when we're talking about how things are the same and different, we're comparing and contrasting. Then when we're talking about how things happen in a certain order, chronological order. All right, here's another one. It's called problem and solution. And this text, you're looking for the problem in the story, and then how do they fix it? So this one starts off pretty obvious because it says they had a terrible problem, and it goes and it tells you what the problem is. So go ahead and read that. Pause the video. All right, so the problem is that every day at recess, students are arguing over these slides, and the solution is that they bought another set. So now everyone has the slides. So again, it's not always going to be so simple as the paragraph we just showed. Sometimes they're going to use related words. So here's some synonyms for problem. You might say difficulty, struggle, uncertainty, worry, threat, trouble, or you might have some synonyms. Remember, synonyms are words that mean the same. So some for solution, how they're solving the problem might be possibility, hope, bright spot, answer, future. So here's another. Go ahead, pause and read. And go ahead and identify the problem and solution. The problem, so they have issues such as pesticides, too many nutrients, and habitat loss. These all threaten the bay's water quality and animal life. But if everyone in the Chesapeake Bay watershed works together, solutions may be found. So there's your solution. So here, notice that our problem is identified at the beginning and our solution we find at the end. All right, so here's the ones that we've talked about so far. So when you see things that clue words like however, on the other hand, similarity, like, unlike, we are comparing and contrasting. As a result, consequently, therefore, so, cause and effect. That would be cause and effect. Problem, solution, threat, difficulty, hope, answer, possibility, problem and solution. All right, so most paragraphs that we write in school can be called main idea, description, or statement, and support paragraphs. So, for example, in this kind of paragraph, the author offers a main idea statement, and then they support it with details. So, for example, the pond was a beautiful place. That's your main idea. And then what follows are all the things that tell why that main idea is true. So it has falling leaves, they're in different color, they decorate the surface of the water. At the edges of the pond, you've got small wildflowers, and the golden floors glowed. So these are all things that are describing why the pond is so beautiful or such a beautiful place to visit. Some of your clue words might be one reason, another reason, for example. All right, so now it's your turn. On the next few slides, we will read some paragraphs about the Great Chicago Fire, and your task is to decide the text structure for each one. So understanding this text structure will help you to understand each paragraph. So go ahead and read the structure, or read the passage and decide what the structure is. You can pause the video. All right, so this is a chronological order because you can see those clue words in the blue. First, this happened, and then you've got some times. So the first time would happen first, and then the later time, and then it says in another 3 hours, and then it says another day. So those are helping you to sequence the order of events. All right, so helping you or understanding that that's written in a time sequence structure helps you to understand when the Great Fire started. Let's try another one. So go ahead and pause and read this and decide which one on the left it would be. All right, this is the same information or information still about the Great Chicago Fire, but now this is a cause and effect. So it says um, in blue, here's your cause. So it says one reason for the terrible fire is that the alarm malfunctioned. That was a cause. And then the effect is in the yellow, or it goes into another problem. And so then it says, because of those two problems, here's what happened. So it leads to this effect. A fire that could have been controlled rapidly spread across the city. So something happened that caused this effect. Go ahead, pause and read this. Decide what structure. All right, this is problem and solution. Here's your problem. Providing all of these people with food, clean water, and shelter was a huge task. So even though it didn't say like this is the problem, when it says that it was a huge task, that helps you to identify, okay, they're talking about something that's problematic. Then they say, luckily, the city quickly formed a relief and aid society. So that relief and aid society is how they're going to help solve the problem. All right, go ahead and look at this one. Pause the video. All right, so this is a compare and contrast. Notice how this paragraph is comparing the Chicago, or comparing Chicago before the fire and then after. Here's those clue words. So before the fire, you could have that. Remember how we used the Venn diagram earlier? So the Venn diagram could be stuff before, and then on the left side, and then over on the right could be after. All right, one more. Pause the video, read the following. All right, this, it says people described it as terrible but amazing. There's your main idea. And then the rest of the sentences explain what that means. All right, take it out the door. Jot down your answer on the slip of paper provided. How does knowing or being familiar with text structures or how a text is organized help you as a reader? Explain how you can find the text structure of a paragraph. And then we're going to share our ideas with a partner once everybody is finished with this towards the end of the week. So go ahead, write that down and record your response to that. You can pause the video so you can have the question and make sure you respond to make sure you're answering the question. So how does knowing or being familiar with text structure or how a text is organized help you? So how does knowing all those structures, how does being able to identify those clue words, how does that help you as a reader? All right, thanks for listening and watching.